want to help you get to know your local candidates. So on The Tea with Amanda Roley, I sit down with candidates to discuss who they are and where they stand on important issues in our community. Here's what some of the candidates told me over tea. Well, Al French, thank you for joining me for The Tea with Amanda Roley. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
You bet.
I see you brought your own tea to The Tea with Amanda, so I got to ask, what are we sipping on today?
Oh, it's self-sweetening tea, Aloha Milo tea.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, thank you for coming to sip on some tea and spill the tea with me.
Yeah.
We'll start off. Why are you deciding to run again for another term as Spokane County Commissioner for District 5?
District 5. You know, there's a lot of good things going on right now, and a lot of that has my fingerprints on it. And economic development in the West Plains, you know, financial security with the county, and a lot of other things. And I want to keep that going.
Kind of touching on this, I mean, West Plains is an area where we've seen a lot of growth. Spokane County, we're feeling the growing pains. What steps would you take to address the current growing pains and prepare for future growth?
Well, one of the things that we've been challenged by through the state's Growth Management Act is our ability to address the housing need. You know, the state has stood in the way of us being able to provide more affordable housing for workforce, as well as that in-migration that's happening. And then making sure that we keep pace with our infrastructure. You know, I've brought literally tens of millions of dollars of infrastructure money to this county. And I have those relationships both at the federal level and the state level, and I want to be able to continue to use those relationships.
Al, looking at the primary election, you're running as a Republican and incumbent to the Board of County Commissioner, but the primary election didn't necessarily come heavily in your favor. We saw Maggie Yates get a bit more favor of the vote. And so I wonder, do you think this poses a challenge for you going ahead into the general election?
I think the anomaly that we had in the primary was that Don Harmon ran as a Republican when he's never been a Republican in his life. In fact, there is no record of him ever being a Republican. He's always been a liberal. And so early on, he made a statement in the Spokesman Review that he wanted to regain political relevance. Well, what better way to regain political relevance than to run as a Republican, take votes from me, and then carry him over the Democratic Party.
Part of your campaign for this election, you've really honed in on that experience you bring to the table. You've even gone as far as listing a resume on your website.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, what do you want voters to take away from that?
The big point is experience matters. And I've navigated 2 governmental entities through a recession. I know how to prioritize. I know how to keep the lights on. And that knowledge and experience is something that I'm the only one in this race that has.
All right, well, Maggie Yates, welcome to The Tea with Amanda Roley.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here.
Thanks so much, happy to be here.
Yeah, so you are running for new District 5 for Spokane County Commissioner. But before we get into election, let's talk about really important stuff. I don't know what tea you decided to select here.
Yes, the hard-hitting questions first.
Yes.
I went with the lemon mint.
Nice.
And it's nice and hot right now, but I did take a sip. It's very good.
Oh, good. Very minty, fresh.
Yes,
love it.
absolutely.
Great. So Maggie, first of all, why the heck are you running for Spokane County Commissioner?
Well, as you know, I worked at the county for almost 4 years managing criminal justice policy, making sure that our local legal system operates fairly, efficiently, and equitably. And so it was really important, challenging work that allowed me to see up close how local government really can improve the quality of life for individuals pretty drastically and immediately. But also it allowed me to see the ways in which I think current county leadership is failing to maximize that potential. And so I'm running because I want to be a part of creating a brighter future here.
District 5, it's newly redrawn. Can you tell me what are some important pressing issues in your district?
Absolutely. One of the issues that I hear about when I'm canvassing is, first of all, a frustration that our elected local officials are really polarized and unable to come together and work to solve problems collaboratively that are really regional wide. Another big issue is our growth and infrastructure. There has just been a lack of deliberate planning or poor planning that has resulted in some really dangerous conditions for our neighbors and neighborhoods.
You received an endorsement from Don Harmon, Republican candidate. What do you think that says about moving forward into the general election?
I think it says that we're ready to have, again, a more responsive, a more collaborative approach to governance.
So Maggie, you have the bipartisan support. You have the primary election results in your favor. Do you think this gives you an edge looking ahead to the general election?
I think it's going to be a really tight race. And so we're just continuing to work very hard throughout the campaign to reach voters, share our message, and make sure that we are being as responsive as possible to the voters.
How do you stand out against your opponent, incumbent Al French?
Yes, so I am from Spokane, as I said, so I have a deep personal commitment to the community. I also bring very different perspective and expertise to the role of county commissioner. As I've said, the status quo isn't working. It's not producing the results that our taxpayers and our voters deserve. And so my legal training, my experience in the criminal justice system, which again eats up so much of our county resources, and my commitment to transparent, accountable, and responsive governance is what really sets me apart.
Now, these are only snippets of my interviews with these candidates. You can watch the full interviews on the KREM 2 YouTube page, and stick with KREM 2 Plus for more election coverage. Thanks for watching.